What went wrong with World of Warcraft? This is a question we hear often these days, and today we're going to answer this question together. Now, before we get started, we have to set a standard for what is defined as being wrong with World of Warcraft. Otherwise, anytime someone dislikes something, then it will automatically be something wrong with the game. I mean, obviously, it couldn't be the player, right? As an example, player Fred pulls too many mobs while leveling and he dies. Now, what is this? This is outrageous. The game screwed up, and obviously the devs need to fix this. Now, it's obvious to me and the rest of the world that this is something caused by the player making a mistake and getting overly confident and pulling too many mobs. Another example would be player Robin is flying along on her way to the next raid, and out of nowhere, the flight path drops her to her death. Now, this would be something that the player could obviously say was wrong with the game, and definitely would need to report it to the devs. Now, let's go ahead and get started. First, I'm going to give you a list of the top 15 complaints from players that I've heard. Then I'm going to do something that I've never done on this channel before. Number 1, Pathfinder, or flying in the game in general. Number 2, Classic was easy. BFA's the hardest that we've ever had it. Number 3, Blizzard is biased toward insert the opposite faction's name here. Number 4, this is the end of WoW. WoW's dead. Number 5, looking for raids should be deleted. Number 6, getting ganked by the opposite faction. Number 7, RNG hates me. RNG needs to be removed. Number 8, leveling is too slow, or, on the flip side, leveling is too fast. Number 9, I want Classic to be just like it was back in 2004, but you can add the things that I want, and then they'll definitely give you a list of everything they want to see added. Number 10, I pay $15 a month, and I want everything given to me. After all, I paid for it. Number 11, kicking somebody from a dungeon or raid because they are not as elite as you feel that you are. Number 12, time-gated content. Number 13, DPS meters. Number 14, watered down content and raids being changed over to dungeons. And number 15, Blizzard fanboys. Now, before I get started giving you my thoughts on these things, I would like to ask each of you to copy and paste from the pinned comment down below and give your opinions on each. And here we go. Pathfinder, or flying in general. Many players complain that Pathfinder should be removed and make it so that you just pay and fly instantly, and that Pathfinder is too hard. I disagree, for 2 reasons. 1, players complain that they have nothing to do. Earn Pathfinder and you'll have a lot to do. Number 2, not all players have unlimited funds and would rather spend gold on things they need and want. Classic was easy. BFA is the hardest we've ever had it. Anyone who has uttered these words should be eager to prove their point by playing from 1 to 60 in Classic when it comes out. And Battle for Azeroth raids have multiple difficulty levels. And if you're used to normal and you hop over into a Mythic Plus, then I'm sure to you it is the hardest ever. Blizzard is biased toward insert the appropriate faction here. Now, this is one of the biggest complaints, and it's been around for 15 years, since the day that the game first opened. Obviously, Blizzard is the one who is biased because something don't go your way, when in reality the game is made to give a certain advantage to both sides and to encourage you to play both sides. This is the end of WoW. WoW's dead. This one really gets under my skin. The game will end when Blizzard decides and not before. Just because a player thinks it's dead, don't mean it is. Looking for raid should be deleted. Now some players think that looking for raid and looking for group water things down. To me, I disagree. I don't think it does. What it does do is give players who cannot dedicate the time needed to raid in other settings such as normal, mythic, or even heroic to still play the game. And for those who don't like looking for raid and looking for group, then simply don't use it. Getting ganked by the opposite faction. Simple fix. /PvP to turn it off. Or disable war mode. If you don't do this, then you get what you asked for. You're putting yourself out there as a target for the opposite faction. RNG hates me. RNG needs removed. RNG can be a pain, and it can seem like it hates you. But the sad fact is that life in general has a lot to do with your luck. You don't get everything you want and need, and if you do, then you earn it. I know we all complain about RNG, I do myself, but that's the truth of the matter. Leveling is too slow. And then on the flip side, leveling is too fast. Come on, it can't be hard and easy at the same time, guys. If you think it's too fast, do it without using XP potions. Do it without using heirlooms and rested XP. Doing that in itself will make it slow down a lot for you. Now, if you want it to be faster, use the XP potions, the rested XP, and the heirlooms. It'll speed up a lot. I want Classic to be just like it was back in 2004, but you can add the things that I want. Okay, this one is definitely one of my pet peeves, and I could talk for hours on this one, but I'll try to keep it short. Now, I know I may tick off a few players here, but oh well, I'm going to keep it real. If you want Classic WoW, and you want it to be the true Classic WoW as it was in 2004, then you can't get upset when Blizzard does not add the things like blind mounts, battle pets, transmog, and classes that was not even in the game in WoW back in the days of vanilla. If you want the version that has all of these things in it, there's already one in place. It's called Battle for Azeroth. I pay $15 a month. I want everything given to me. After all, it's my right. I paid for it. You pay to play, not to be a welfare case and have things handed over to you. None of us are entitled to anything that we don't work for. This is true in life and in game. Kicking somebody from a dungeon or raid because they are not as elite as you. Now, when you're leveling, I agree, people need to remember where they started out and that no one is perfect from the start. And at that point, I don't think people should be kicking somebody because they are not using the same gear as you or whatever. But when you're talking about the in-game content, then you need to realize that the group leader or raid leader has to make choices to make sure that the raid progresses, and sometimes that means kicking somebody out. I've been there. Time-gated content. I have to admit that at times this gets on my nerves more than anything in-game. But I guess it's what we're stuck with. Blizzard is not about to change it just because we don't like it. DPS meters. Now, this was always one of my pet peeves, even back in vanilla. You'll have players in 5-man content use DPS meters to have an excuse to kick somebody out. It's 5-man content. Get over it. Not everybody is running 5-man content with gear from mythic raids. So before you start to kick or use DPS meters on somebody, think about it. Watered down content or raids that have been changed to dungeons. Watered down content is what most people call looking for raid and looking for group. But if you don't like the setting, don't use it. And only once in the history of the game, as far as I recall, has Blizzard ever converted a raid into a dungeon, and that was Zul Grub. And I'm not happy about it, but in the end, Blizzard don't care if we're happy about something. They're going to do it anyway. And finally, Blizzard Fanboy. This is a name tag that people throw around way too easy nowadays. Does somebody disagree with you? Blizzard Fanboy. Does somebody like something that you see as a total cluster bomb? Well, they're a Blizzard Fanboy, obviously. Simply put, we're all humans, and we will disagree. And it don't mean that we are Blizzard fanboys because we disagree with someone. Because disagreeing is part of being human. Now that's my opinion on things. I would love to hear yours down in the comment section below. Be sure to give a thumbs up, share the video with your friends, and subscribe to the channel. Till next time, have a great one.